Hey, what's going on, guys? And the big thing to know right away is that this update is all about fixing progression blockers, tightening up gameplay, and smoothing out a few rough edges that could interrupt a run. The official patch notes make it clear that this is a cleanup-focused update rather than some massive content drop. But honestly, these are the kinds of fixes that matter because they solve the stuff that can completely ruin a playthrough. One of the biggest fixes here is for the real deal, where players could hit a black screen progression issue if lens distortion was turned off. That is the kind of bug that sounds minor until it happens to you, because suddenly the game is basically telling you, nope, you are not going anywhere. The good news is that this has now been resolved, so players should be able to keep moving without that awkward visual lockup getting in the way. And that is not the only thing getting cleaned up in the real deal. The final boss movement in that encounter has also been improved, so the fight should feel smoother and less awkward in the way the enemy behaves. On top of that, the dynamite throw animation now triggers more reliably, which is the kind of fix that may sound subtle on paper, but in action it can make the whole flow of combat feel far more responsive. When an animation does not fire properly, it throws off timing, aim, and the rhythm of a fight. So this is a welcome change. Elsewhere, there is a really important fix in the Mousebird Opera mini-boss arena. Before this update, collision problems in that space could trap players against the environment, which is exactly the sort of thing nobody wants in the middle of a boss sequence. That has now been addressed, so the arena should be much safer to move through without getting wedged into geometry. In a game like this, where movement and combat are both so central, even one collision snag can break the flow hard. So this fix is a big win for moment-to-moment play. Far Wetlands also got a crucial progression correction. The no entry yet door could sometimes stay shut even after all the enemies were defeated, which is one of those problems that can make you think you missed something, when really the game just failed to update the logic correctly. That has been repaired, so once the area is cleared, the door should now open the way it is supposed to. Then there is Quagmire, where enemy pathfinding has been improved, so units are less likely to snag on doors and level geometry. This is another fix that sounds technical, but it has a direct effect on how smooth the whole game feels. Bad pathing can create blockers, weird enemy behavior, and those awkward moments where everything seems to slow down for no good reason. By tightening that up, the update helps keep the level moving the way it should. Combat itself also got a useful correction, because shotgun-wielding enemies were occasionally failing to deal damage to the player. That is the sort of bug that can go either way depending on the moment, but either way it is a sign that something is off in the combat logic. Now that issue has been addressed, enemy attacks should behave more consistently. There is also a platform and interface fix that I think a lot of people will appreciate. The exit to main menu and exit game prompts have been restored in settings for players on ROG Ally, Xbox platforms, and other handheld devices. That matters because when menu options go missing, it is not just annoying, it makes basic navigation feel broken. So this update brings those controls back where they belong, making the interface cleaner and easier to use. The patch notes also mention a refinement to a small number of simplified Chinese translations, so the localization text should read more accurately after this update. That may not be the headline feature for every player, but it is still part of the overall polish pass, and it shows the team is tightening up presentation across languages too. Now for the X side of things, the official news page says a new Xbox update is coming soon, and the studio described it as a separate fix pass for some minor issues. That means the hotfix currently detailed in the official notes is the one for Steam and PlayStation 5, while Xbox players should expect another update once it is ready. The Xbox announcement also pointed to fixes for load times, a rare freeze in Bandel's laboratory, ammo purchasing inconsistencies, flashlight and health issues in Kurdsville, animation and camera shake problems, audio distortions, a side quest issue in the old subway, some achievements not activating, and a privacy notice problem for non-English languages. So overall, this is a really practical update. It is not trying to reinvent anything, it is just making the game more stable, more predictable, and a lot less likely to trip over its own systems. For a game like Mouse PI for Hire, that kind of patchwork goes a long way, because it keeps the style, combat, and atmosphere intact without the annoying interruptions. And yeah, that is exactly the kind of update players usually hope to see right after launch, especially when the goal is to keep the experience smooth on PC, PS5, and across the Xbox ecosystem once that next update lands.